Chickens. This is Loopin Louie, the godfather of all children's dexterity games. It was first published in 1992, and that means it's been terrorising chicken farmers for 24 years. After picking up the coveted Children's Spiel des Jahres award in 1994, he's quietly gone about accumulating the highest user rating for any game on Board Game Geek that claims to cater down for children as young as age 4. I think you'll agree this is one moustachioed maniac who demands a closer look. So you'll take on the role of an innocent chicken farmer embroiled in an epic battle with the airborne kleptomaniac Louie, whose insatiable appetite for free-range chicken is one of the more morbid legends around. Unfortunately, neither you nor any of your rivals had quite enough cash to finish building the roof on your barn. So you're forced to live in constant vigilance, ever ready to grab the biggest stick you can find and wave it threateningly at Louie as he circles overhead. Whoever is the last farmer standing with at least one chicken in their barn is declared the winner, securing for themselves the lifetime of fame and glory that generally accompany a monopoly on village egg production. Okay, so here at Big Imagination Games, we think you care about 4 different areas when it comes to buying games for your offspring. Firstly, does my kid enjoy it? Secondly, do I enjoy it? Thirdly, does it teach my child any kind of gaming relevant skills that might be useful in future when they want to try and beat me? And lastly, all the other stuff like theme, cost, components, etc. So we're going to score each of those 4 areas out of 25 and give it the total score as usual. And let's start by having a look at how it goes down with our own little chicks. Well, any activity that actively encourages you to hit something is destined to be popular with both of our boys. Ezra's 3.5 now and Eli's just turned 2, so there's a strong collective urge to attack things that often bubbles to overflowing in our household. Not only that, but you've got these electronic moving parts and an actual flying aeroplane. This game feels a bit like waltzing into your nearest toy shop, going up to that big Perspex case with a beautifully laid out automated train set, and then handing your son a sledgehammer with an encouraging smile. Now Ezra's at the stage now where he usually has something to say for himself, so let's give him his moment in the limelight. Did you like Loopin Louie?
Yeah.
You don't have to, you can just let go of it, it will record. You don't have to do anything else.
Yeah.
What was your favourite thing about it?
Saving the chickens.
Saving chickens.
Yeah.
Is that the thing you like most about playing?
Yes, and I like playing with the plane.
That's true.
I like playing with the plane.
Okay. Would you play it again?
Yes.
Every day?
Yes.
Okay. Anything you didn't like about it?
Him stealing them.
Him stealing the chickens? Yeah, okay. Good stuff. Thanks.
Yeah.
Thanks,
Now it's
everyone.
your turn, Daddy.
Now he did enjoy himself, but he also stopped playing quite a lot faster than I thought he would. He's at an awkward stage for this game where he needs more to engage him than just the simple joy of banging the lever, which kept Eli busy for several plays already. But he's also not quite at the stage where he can take that fourth dimension in his stride and compete meaningfully with his admittedly dimension-savvy dad. I think he'll enjoy himself much more when he can compete on a more consistent basis, probably, as the publisher suggests, from around about his 4th birthday. So in terms of scoring, this game has the potential to score a 22 or 23 for slightly older children, so it's definitely worth considering if you've got older ones. I imagine age 4 to 6 is a sweet spot here, but it's just a bit early for us to fully engage with it. So based on our normal scoring system for children of his age, 3.5, we will give it a solid 16. So what about the parents? Well, one thing I love about dexterity games generally is that there's often quite an easy way to handicap the best players, so that you can in some way level the playing field. This game actually has a built-in system for catering for different skill levels, as it allows you to extend the lever for younger players, which is brilliant. Obviously you could also always just compete with one chicken rather than the normal 3, if you want to give yourself a bit more of a challenge against your kids. We've also developed our own handicap system in which the winner takes on a gradually increasing impairment. So the first time you play, you switch to using your left hand if you win. The second time you win, you then change to your right elbow. Third time you win, it's your left elbow. And then lastly, after your 4th win, you find yourself with a wooden spoon in your mouth, trying to win that way. And the first person to win with a wooden spoon is the overall victor. This allowance for some degree of handicap system means that you as an adult can take it more seriously, making for a much more engaging experience than most other games designed for this sort of age group. It's also more challenging in itself than most children's dexterity games, just because of the unpredictability of Louie's movements. Sometimes you'll impart what seems like a perfect strike on Louie's chassis, only to find him wheeling straight back round and diving down on your last remaining hen. And there are some flight paths that are difficult to pull off as the attacker, but literally undefendable. It's a bit like that squash serve that goes over the back of your shoulder, and you're left with your racket trying to scrape it against the wall and shovel it back over your shoulder. There's also that added spice that if you're a little bit too enthusiastic with your defence, your chicken will fall out of your barn to its demise, presumably because you've been flailing so wildly that you've inadvertently clotheslined some unsuspecting passing poultry. So, using this handicap method that we've spoken about, this is a game that I would genuinely consider cracking out with the right group of adults. And that's not something I can say for any other kids game that I've played so far. There was even a time a couple of years ago when young adults in Germany were playing this as a drinking game. Yes, it's simple, yes, it's silly, yes, you'll probably still easily beat your children, but at least for once I'm actually engaged in the gameplay and not just waiting for someone to finally roll a 6 so you can go and do something else. Next up, it's the overarching principles of gaming category, or OPG for short. Now the idea here is that a truly great children's game will develop in Ezra some sort of skill that's relevant to being an adult in a gaming sense, when his stabilisers well and truly come off. Unfortunately, this is where Louie's propeller stalls and he starts to rapidly lose altitude. You don't really practice anything in this game apart from how to hit something with the right force at exactly the right time. So unless your child is a budding baseball or cricket player, it's not really going to teach them anything useful in a gaming sense. So now we come to all the other stuff you're likely to care about as a responsible parent making a responsible purchase for your kids. Cost, theme, design, art, components, rulebook, all that stuff. Cost-wise, it's not too bad. It's about £15 from the UK or somewhere around $18 in the States. The art, as you can see, is beautifully put together, and it's surprisingly cathartic, spending that time putting those stickers on the various bits when you first open the game box. Plus, Louie himself has proved quite popular as a toy plane in his own right. The components are all sturdy and well designed, although we did have to take a point away for the box, which is genuinely awful. And the rulebook is sufficient but uninspiring, never venturing beyond that palette of black text on a white background. What I love most about this game, though, is the theme. It's utterly ridiculous and yet surprisingly coherent for a game at this level. The idea of 4 angry farmers wielding their sticks at a passing plane is completely farcical and yet immensely satisfying. And that image in my mind of someone inadvertently dispatching their last chicken as they swing around in uncontrolled fury is beautiful, like the icing on a bizarrely decorated but extremely tasty cake. All in all then, with a total score of 56, that's considerably more respectable than his profession, Louie has gently manoeuvred himself into 3rd place in our leaderboard at the time of filming, dropping in behind Floundering by Rocket Toys and First Orchard by Haber. This is a brilliant dexterity game. It's quick, easy to set up, and it is genuinely fun for all the family. We'd highly recommend that anyone with children under age 10 has this game in their collection, as long as you're happy with the idea of a professional criminal living in your home.